Folks, we are live. Welcome to Gamers Hell. Sounds like a Halloween episode. Um, I am Eric Tenkar.
I know you were trying to do the Prius races. The
Yeah.
mystery of faith.
Oh man, I don't think anybody here wants to get a laugh. It's not Sunday anyway. But folks, I am Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, the guy who's realizing he probably needs another haircut. Holy crap. And with me, as always, on Saturday nights is my lovely wife, Rach.
Hello.
Mr. Gunn, welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us. So we are gonna be talking about decluttering your life. We've been uh, doing so, and I even posted on today's blog post, and I'm sharing. I need a Bob in the OSR. You're right. You're right. Bo Paints Minis. Um, I didn't even know I was posting about the Monsters Kickstarter. The reality is, and I was talking about this last year that I wanted to start clearing out parts of my gaming collection. I was talking about last year about selling some stuff. Uh, Somebody misinterpreted that Tenkar is broke. Tenkar isn't broke. Tenkar spends way too much shit on gaming material, and the reality of that means is that, like, you see that shelving over Rachel's head? That's all full of gaming material. And I got gaming material to that side. I got gaming material to that side. I got gaming material in front of the TV set. I got gaming material keeping half a room alive. What used to be called the computer room.
And it's encroaching
And
onto my
yoga space.
singing bowl shelf.
Yes. So the reality is when I go to ShireCon with Rach later in September, I'm going to take some of the big box games that I don't play and donate them to the con. They can auction them, they can put them in the raffle. They're not doing me any good, but the space I free up will do me a lot of good because I'm trying to declutter, and that's part of it. Now,
It's hard because when we love something, we want, you know, I think we're both personalities that, when we love something or we are excited about something or we have a certain hobby, we want all of the thing.
yes,
And so, I mean, mine's like within reason. Like I won't buy like a $250 like or a $500 perfume, but I do have a lot. Um, but it's not like insane. Like it's
it,
not
it,
like that manic spendy kind of thing. I mean, it can be, but not quite to that extent where I spend where I'll drop like a paycheck on a perfume or like
I know.
or a paycheck on two perfumes and then
You'll get there,
or
H.
whatever. But what it is that you bring so much into your collection, um and then there's things that sort of fall by the wayside, and then it's sort of like, oh, I used to love this thing. Why did it fall by the wayside? And so you sort of look at your attachments, you look at your collection, sort of like, what do I need, what do I not need? Can it bring joy to somebody else if it's not bringing me joy? So
Right.
I just sort of will move perfumes along, um to other people. I'll gift them to other people, or
You're pretty
have
good.
my niece inherit it.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that. Now,
But I swear, I think that's probably the number one space. Perfumes and like, soaps and candles and things like that. I'd say like that's probably a level one hoarding situation.
well, Bo. So, what I got the Batman board game, which I backed on Kickstarter, I guess 2 or 3 years ago, unopened, still in the original cellophane. If I haven't opened it in that time, it gotta go. I have the original Ogre Kickstarter, which takes up so much effing space. I'm never going to play it in this house. I don't have the space to play it in this house. And I don't have it would take up a whole game store to play that. So I
What
like it.
game is this?
Ogre
Ogre. Oh,
up on the top.
yes.
Yes. Then there's
Isn't that thing like not even just up on the top? It's up on the top, and then there's other boxes that go with it.
no. That's just one big ass box. And then I have I believe the Conan uh, board game. I think that's going to go too. Now, could I sell this stuff on eBay? Sure, and then I'd have to ship it and all that stuff. I could take this to CharterCon and drive into CharterCon. I can drop it off, and it goes to a good cause. And I'm happy to do that. Now I know Mr.
Or you could buy a sales space. No.
No. I'm not going to spend time.
Or you could just be kind and give it to the con.
I'm going to give it to the con.
Raise money for a good cause.
So, and as a side note, and yes, Bo, I really like Ogre too. I used to play the pocket game, right? That's why I wanted the. But it's just
you played a pocket game?
Yes.
Oh.
And it's little cutout like counters, and it was
no wonder why you wanted some big.
Yeah.
Crazy thing.
I wanted this big crazy ass thing, and it's like, oh shit, ain't never gonna happen. So now last night, for those wondering why, like there was gonna be a live stream. First off, I am horrible with dates. Okay, so I thought, stupid me, I thought that Rach and I had a comedy show last Friday. But then we really looked and went, oh, it isn't last Friday. It's this Friday.
Which was good.
Which is why you had Glenn and I last week. And then I had to cancel last night's live stream with the Random Party Generator, which is the summertime. It worked out well. Guys got a break. Everybody's doing stuff. We went and we saw Jimmy Dore.
Yes.
Now, last December, we saw Steven Crowder. For anybody who's at home, marking your scorecard on the kind of comedians that Rach and I like to see. I like, and although I am the first person to say on social media, in my social media groups, I don't like politics. I won't have politics in my social media groups. I don't talk politics, but I find political humor to be fucking funny. Why do I find it funny? Because often it's people on the right pointing out problems, not just with people on the left, but stuff on the right. Or with Jimmy. Jimmy will pick on
pointed out
hypocrisy.
On all sides.
Hypocrisy on all sides. You know, and listen, am I a retired cop? Yes. Does some of his jokes hit hard at cops? Certainly.
Yes.
Certainly. Rach had there was one.
And he's like, but do I love cops? Fuck yeah.
So, you know,
his dad was a cop.
Yeah.
I think he said.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You know, if you're going to, and I get most of my news off of internet channels or reading stuff online because and this is, you can trust whoever you want. I just don't trust mass media because it has agendas. Mm-hmm. All right. I worked for a government agency. It had fucking agendas. Yeah. I worked for a city that has fucking agendas. So I know that there are agendas attached to all this stuff. I like to find my news from independent sources. Just me. Now I'm going to catch up on the chat because you guys are all yappity yappity. Mm-hmm. Mr. Gunn is on his third storage unit. We have one. I'd like to get rid of that one.
Yeah, we need to purge that. There's a lot of stuff in there that we don't need. And
yeah.
Like, you know, I guess, and you have to think of it too. It's like, you know, if it's in storage, it's definitely not bringing me joy.
Yeah. You know listen.
So something. If I felt it could go to storage, maybe, you know.
Maybe
I mean, early on, maybe because like when we would put like fall like, you know, when you change over your wardrobe or whatever for like summer and winter, there might still be clothes in there, you know, but you know, we never went back to grab them the following year.
Yeah, but I'm not giving up on the hoarding. I just need to organize my hoarding a lot better and free up space to allow it to happen.
That's a step.
That's in Hoarders Anonymous. I'm taking step
It's
point.
the first step.
I'm taking step 0.5. The one that comes after going, I'm an RPG hoarder, is a step that comes after that, which is I need more space.
Admitting that life has become unmanageable and that I need more space.
I need more space, and more space doesn't magically appear. And now listen, we had as we dive into today's topic, we had, and this is interesting. Not only we had our niece over for the first part of this week, we had our son visiting. Our son came up, and he stayed. He came up Sunday. Shannon came on Sunday. Shannon left Tuesday night. Chris left Thursday morning. And Chris was going back to a city that he had lived in prior. He works for the airlines, and he was going to clear out a storage unit. Now, admittedly, he cleared out the storage unit, and the ship he sent back that was electronics got killed by the airline.
Yeah.
But he's taking it well. He's taking it well. But even our niece was like, you guys really need to clean. And it was aimed at me. Uncle has too many books just piling up haphazardly. So I have to put them in a non-haphazard situation, which requires organizing, which requires throwing shit out. And we realized when Shannon, our niece, was mentioning that, and Shannon, if you're watching, God bless you. We realized too that when we buy things for dietary reasons, but sometimes you buy stuff with the intention of using it, and then things get shoved back onto a shelf behind stuff.
And then there's also the fact that over the last 3 years, you had some major life events happen where we kind of had to really change our whole eating pattern. And while I cleaned it out when we were in the midst of all this, just through the attempts at trying to change the diet and trying to find new things, new ways of eating, and new types of food that we would try and eat, or with the intention of wanting to cook more, maybe. And
yes.
Then, not really having had that happen, I think these are just the things that come from, just trying different things, and not everything is going to stick, or it'll stick for a little while.
And then you become bored.
We'll find something else that suits a different, suits the needs better.
Right. Listen, we were doing chili. When Rach was working, chili was awesome. I could make a big batch of chili, and we'd proportion it, and then I'd heat it up for them. But now that Rach isn't working, and she's home, now I make meals that are more immediate. I don't have to plan out the week. Now, I probably should, and chili is certainly a healthy way to.
Well, winter's coming, so
I
put it.
So I have ingredients for chili that I haven't gotten used. And by the way, Rach, we could actually make not just using ground turkey. We could use diced.
Yeah, we
diced
settled
chicken.
those packets that I took out and put it on the shelf. Okay.
We have some frozen chicken in the freezer downstairs.
Oh yeah, we could do chicken chili.
We could do chicken chili. Chunk, bake the chicken breast, cut it into chunks.
Just cut it
You don't have to shred it, but there's a lot of stuff you can do. So we decided to get organized. Part of getting organized is you need containers to get organized with. So one of the things, and these aren't right now. This is holding a remote control and some napkins and tissues, but a set of these, I think 16, because now. By the way, I figured out. I don't know if I have a zine near me, but if I can stand zines up in here, especially if I put like a piece of cardboard as a backing. And honestly, two of these could probably hold the majority of the zines that I own. That's not a bad idea because when you organize stuff, then you start to use stuff again. That's
right. You know where it is, and you can enjoy your things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, bought other containers. I bought larger containers that have tops on them that we're now putting our keto crunchies and keto sweets in to make it more manageable, more organized.
Right, the baking mixes and things like that. Just labeling it so that this way we can, if we get the idea that we want to cook or bake, we can know where to go.
Don, sometimes there's a deep joy in just giving, knowing someone else will play it or use it, and you donate it as you know you will not, and that's part of it too. It's going to somebody's going to get it, and somebody's going to get enjoyment out of it.
Yes.
Mind if I haven't taken that ogre box down since I put the ogre box up there after assembling the ogres, because you had to assemble the ogres, man. You had to get those 3D, cardboard cutouts assembled. After doing that, seriously, what else? If it's sitting on the shelf for that long, that's shelf space that, hey, I can. Oh, I have the ogre Kickstarter box, not that smaller box. I got the big ass box. I don't need those bragging rights. Okay, I don't. It comes a time where you need to make space for the new stuff coming in, and somebody got a lot of fun out of that ogre set. Somebody's gonna get a lot of fun out of the Batman game, which I heard was highly rated. But again, it's not something that Rach and I are gonna pop out and play one night. My niece isn't gonna want to play it. Yeah. So why am I keeping it? Bo, C. Jackson Pocket
Games. It is a really nice looking box.
Yeah.
Because the plastic hasn't been taken off of it.
No,
I threw it across the room the other night when I was putting the bed
if
back.
If anything's broken in it,
no, it better not be broken. I thought it was just papers in there.
It's probably, yeah, and
like
probably,
cards and
and probably
things that don't.
I think there's like plastic miniatures, but they're pretty thick. Yes, Bo. The Steve Jackson Pocket Games were awesome. You had what was it? The GEV, which went with Ogre. Wasn't there like a man-to-man supplement or something like that also? And then the TSR had a lot of pocket games. I owned most of those pocket games back then. Oh. Well, they were great because you could take them with you to college and break them out at the chess table and have some fun. Back when my eyes could see it all. Now I need pocket games that are at least twice the size. 2 pocket games. Bo, is the con associated with a charity, maybe a food bank or a pantry? Not at this time. It's still a small con. It's only, I think there's over 107 or so, maybe 110 have registered for the con. I think they're looking at like 125 plus walk-ins. It's in the Berkshire Mountains of Connecticut. You can't get closer to Massachusetts, I think, without going to this con. And it's only a day and a half. So maybe when it gets bigger, they'll associate with the charity. But right now, they're pretty much just lucky to break even. It's a labor of love by Tom Wilson. So God bless Tom. Mr. Gunn, isn't every night with you a comedy? Listen, smart ass. I know you like being a smart ass, Mr. Gunn. You think it's all gonna be giggles? If I get liquored up enough at our new soon to be reborn local tavern pub, they are going to have an open mic night, which means they're going to do comedy.
Maybe you'll do some comedy.
Maybe I'll put a 5-minute
monologue
together. Rach can record it, and then we'll put it up here in the channel, and people can go, "Man, you fucking suck," and I'll be like, "That's why it's called an open mic, you know. You didn't pay for it. Just move along, Beavis. Just move along." But yeah, I know you think it's going to be all funny all the time. It ain't. We get serious sometimes. You've seen me. I've gotten misty-eyed. I've gotten teary-eyed. Can't all be fun games. Mr. Gunbo, you can't eat ogres. No. But ogres will eat anything, or so I hear. That is true. Mr. Gunn, I get most of my news from the weather report. You sound like my mother. Honestly. Don, I love good political commentary, joke, skit. That's why I love George Carlin. Carlin was spot on. You know, hey, it's the reason why. Rach? Who's that famous comedian that just got canceled?
I'm not quite sure.
The one that got canceled for making jokes about a segment of society.
I don't think I heard about this.
Come on. You don't know?
I don't think so.
All right. Okay.
Who is it?
Dave Chappelle.
Oh my God. He's Dave Chappelle. He's being Dave Chappelle.
But Dave Chappelle is a political comedian because he holds nothing back. He talks about stuff that is current,
as it should be.
That's where it should be. So, by the way, Jimmy Dore, amazing stand-up. Like when we saw Crowder last year, the highlight of that was
Dave Landau.
Dave knocked him dead. Steve was okay. I mean, but Jimmy was fucking golden. He hit hard.
Jimmy and Dave.
Well, Jimmy Dore.
Oh, you were speaking of Jimmy. I thought you were still talking about.
No.
Crowder thing.
Yeah, no. Jimmy Dore last night.
Yes.
Struck fucking gold.
Yeah, because like one minute you'd be like, "Oh shit, he really said that," and you'd be like, "Yeah, that's true."
Yeah, and he was, and listen, he had a great point. He goes, "Here in this audience, we have people on the right, we have people on the left,
yes,
and we have people in the center." And he goes, and we can all be here and share laughs together at the same jokes that are pushing the buttons of the left, of the right. And if that isn't showing where we should be, then nothing does. And he's right. He really is. Okay? I mean, honestly, I believe, not to become too political, but Jimmy said it too, that it is trying to divide people because of all these social issues when the real social issue is class warfare.
Yes.
And they don't want. I've always believed, after my years of policing, that the next revolution, not a revolution as you think of it, will come when the lower class, the middle class, realizes that they are being abused by the upper class.
Right.
And stop worrying about racial divisions and gender identity and all this other stuff that's just there to divide us.
Yep.
And realize we're being divided to keep...
for somebody else's benefit.
Right, to keep the middle class.
To keep people occupied and out of their hair from finding out and exposing the real truth.
Yeah, but to keep the middle class and generally the lower class, right? Yeah. We got more middle class and lower class has a lot more in common than the upper class because you're more likely to go between those two classes than reach the upper class. All right, and they would never want the common man to have authority or influence.
There's a glass ceiling there.
So once once people realize what the true division is and what the true issues are, and we put aside other issues, I think we'll be in for a much better society.
True, right.
Bo, laziness is a powerful negative motivator. Certainly.
Mm.
All right, and it's very easy to say, and I've done this. Oh man, I really got to attack that pile to right next to me, man. It's right over here on this side. I know my minion shirt is in that pile somewhere, but I really got to, and I dug it out from North Texas. But I really had to, because once once you get over that hump, you will surprise yourself. But it's that fear of getting over that hump.
The fear starting.
The fear of starting. And that goes for a
Well,
lot of
yeah, I
things.
thought it was so interesting because like we were working pretty hard today, like on the pantry area, like on the little, it's like a little storage, bunch of shelving and stuff, and yeah, it's like a built-in in our kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I was bringing you all these things from the past. I thought it was interesting because you were like going through and going, wow, I was really in panic mode.
Oh yeah.
Like things from that you felt like, oh, I should keep that. It's not expired yet. Like the Primatine mist, for example.
Yeah.
Like because you weren't you had difficulty breathing because of your heart failure, but you didn't know that was why. So you were like, oh, just let me.
I thought it was still.
He was ODing on inhalers.
I wasn't ODing on.
I don't mean to say that.
I wasn't. Literally, I was just like, everything was so hard to get in 2020. That first half of 2020, that when you could get something, you hoarded it like toilet paper.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, and the inhalers. I mean, I was just like, oh my god, when you can't breathe, there is very little that's as scary as that.
Yeah.
So that literally put me into panic mode.
Mm-hmm.
So now, and there were numerous ones that were set up for use. Still had two in the box. We'll keep them. You never know when that stuff's going to be needed. And I'd rather have one that works less than 100% than have none at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't had an inhaler use needed since my second hospitalization when I was in for my 3 weeks for congestive heart failure.
Mm-hmm.
And that is awesome and amazing, but I still remember that fear.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember when I was taking insulin and when I was, before I got the Libra.
Yeah.
When I was doing the finger pricks. Oh my god, I hated finger pricks. So I had lances. I could have lanced my fingers 4 times a day for 6 months. The number of lances that we found today, packed away, ready to go. So, now did I keep one box?
Yeah, because you might have a time where it's a shortage of
So I may need to
Libras.
So I may need to check my blood sugar manually, but I don't need a half a year worth of that. And Bo, I have a 3D printer, just haven't set it up yet. Yes, when that happens. No, I plan on like.
Yeah, you'll be able to set that up.
Yeah. So
as we make our way
through the different rooms. Gosh darn it, we're gonna. I swear, Tom's gonna. Hopefully, when I get Tom, hold on, I gotta make a couple of trips to the trunk. Here's more. It's like, because when you drive to a con, A, you can buy stuff, and B, you can get rid of stuff at that. I'm not getting rid of it. Well, yeah. Donating it.
Move it along.
Oh, the pocket game was called Battlesuit. Thank you, Mr. Gunn. I couldn't remember the one that was the man-to-man one for the Ogre universe. Bo, telling jokes with that accent makes everything funnier. I've gotten in trouble for playing with accents in my life. The one I always wanted to do that I never did was I wanted to do an Irish brogue over. There was a cop when I worked in the 4-2 precinct. There was a cop in the 4-1 precinct. Sorry, no, actually, it was in the 4-2. I was in the 4-2. We shared a radio division with the 4-8, and there was an Irish cop in the 4-8, and he had the full Irish brogue. He spoke like Central. This is too frank. And you'd hear that, and you're like, oh my God, how does anybody understand him? But I wanted to, on St. Patty's Day, I wanted to be like, what? 180 Central, 180. Show me nipping out to the pub from your lunch. I'd advise you when I'm 98. And I was like, I'll get suspended if I pull shit like that. But it would have been funny. I really think it would have been funny. I could have been a contender. You never know. But yes, those canceling Dave Chappelle didn't actually listen to what he says. And listen, Chappelle will offend people on the left and people on the right.
Yes.
And I don't believe that he's right leaning. Like most people in Hollywood, most people in situations like that are on the left. But he will speak truth to power. And that makes it, regardless of whether you're on the left or the right, truth is an amazing thing to hear. When you know truths when you hear them.
Yeah, there's a certain place in your body where you feel it too, and somebody says it.
You're right,
There's
Bo.
a place in your tummy. And
yeah, the revolution will not be televised, and it'll come with disclaimers on YouTube. I was like, you have to remember the COVID vaccine is safe and effective and prevents or lessens the transmission because they had to change what the goal was. Listen, I'm vaxxed and I'm boosted, and I'm not saying I'm not going to get any more boosters. I'm not, but because I've had it twice, I don't think I can get more immune than I probably am now. But I'm vaxxed and I'm boosted, and I got everything after being vaxxed and boosted twice. So, I don't know. Yes, the wealthy are not our friends. That is true. I agree. The fear of starting is a good one. I suffer from low energy in general. That is nothing that is new for anybody. Inertia, right? We all know what science. An object in motion stays in motion.
Right.
An object at rest stays at rest. Right? We all learned that in high school science, and we all went, okay, well, what does that mean? It means that if you're not doing anything, to continue not doing something is a lot easier than doing something. Taking that first step, whether it is to declutter, whether it is to exercise, whether it is to change your diet, whether it is to work on a project, start writing. All of that has to compete with inertia. You got to get into motion. Now, there are certain ways to kind of cheat inertia. A smartwatch is one of them, right? I don't want to work out today. I've done enough working out. I'd rather sit here and watch my YouTube. And that's true. Rach and I watch more YouTube than we watch anything on demand. Commercial TV will be turned on for the first time in months only because football season's starting. But I can take my watch and go, oh, okay, I have 481 move. Awesome. I've got 25 exercise because we did a lot of walking after the show yesterday before saying, fuck the subway, we're getting an Uber. And I got a lot of exercise in from that. And I got my 12 out of 12 stands. So I should hit 30 minutes of exercise. After we do this live stream, I'm going to spend 10 minutes doing stretches and shadow boxing, whatever, to get my 5 minutes in because I'm motivated to close my exercise ring. So I close all 3 rings again for this another day this month. It gamifies your motivation, but sometimes that's what you need. You know,
yeah, it really does. It helps to tap.
yeah. Mr. Gunn, I did good today. Sorted through a huge pile of papers, cleaned the bedroom, got a haircut,
Nice.
and got some bolts to fix the table.
Nice.
There you go.
What Saturdays are for.
You know, I mean, listen, we accomplished a decent amount. There's a really huge, decent amount that still has to get covered. But we're going to be taking a few days and going to the Poconos. And when we come back, we're going to step right back into it. You know, with our batteries refreshed and maybe some ideas. Maybe we'll go shopping at, was it Odd Lot of Ocean State, or whatever it's called, and find some storage containers. We'll go there with a different agenda than usual because now we're like, oh, well, we need to get ways to organize. So let's see what we can get to organize. And you find that trickles down. And once you start, you don't want
well, you
to
see
stop.
other things. Oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to keep it going. Mr. Gunn, I find writing things down is helpful. It feels good to put an X in the box.
Yeah.
Again, you
cross things off your to-do list kind of thing.
You're gamifying it to some extent, but yes, there's a visual thing about motivation. All right, it's there. The watch can motivate. Oh, it's upside down, but you can see. I've closed. All right, my stands. The circle isn't closed, but it should be closed. It'll figure it out at some point. I've got 12 stands. Ray probably has like 19.
No, I have 12.
Well, we got home late last night. Had to decompress. Had a snack. Had to have a little wine. We didn't go to bed till like 3:00 ish.
Yep.
So we didn't wake up till like noonish, and so we had a late start on the day.
Yeah.
But in addition to this work, cut the lawn.
Yeah.
I pulled out all the old lettuce plants.
I made our dinner.
Yeah, Rach made dinner. It was tomato and mozzarella salad with some fresh cucumbers
and peppers and basil.
So the basil, the tomatoes, and the cucumbers were from the yard. The peppers were fresh, but from the supermarket, and obviously we don't make our own mozzarella. But it was fresh mozzarella. You got to go with the fresh mozzarella. Yep. You can't
pearls.
Little pearls.
They're really nice for them.
Don, it can be hard to get up in the morning to clean that mess to work on a game. It's easy to say next week. We can talk ourselves into our own failure. Mm-hmm. Yes, certainly. And there are certain days where I look at myself and I go, wow, when I was working full time, and for me, full time was a 42.5-hour work week because I worked 8 hours and 35 minutes a day. So actually, it was almost a 43-hour work week, I guess. So I worked a 43-hour work week, often with some overtime. And yet, at that point, I was podcasting with the Brainstorm podcast every other week and putting up two to four, often 3 blog posts a day while working. Now, while retired, I put up 1 blog post a day and 1 video a day. You would think that it'd be like, oh, I'm going to be doing videos all day. there's other stuff to do. You know, the funny thing about retirement is that um, what do they say? Um, air hates a vacuum, right? When there's a vacuum, air comes in and fills it up. One, two, three, right? Because there's a vacuum. It gives just the air just a little bit as the have a container, get all the air out of it, and then just put a pinhole in it. Doesn't take long for all the air to seep in. Why? Because vacuums are this empty space and air just wants to fill it. Well, guess what? Same thing is with your free time when you retire.
Hmm.
Your free time when you retire is not because part of it is oh well now that you're retired, can have take your niece out 2 or 3 times a week? Sure. Can you do this shopping? Can you do this work? Can you put this together? Can you binge watch something that you wouldn't have binge watched otherwise? By the way, honest confession, I retired. Oh my God, nearly 7.5 years ago. I off the books just over 7, but stopped working 7.5 years ago. I promised myself that
Wow, this
what
August made 2.
for you.
Yeah.
Wow. I promised myself upon retirement that I would spend a day binge watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I haven't. Now, part of the reason is because Rach fell asleep the 2 times I tried to have her watch The Fellowship. She didn't make it out of Hobbiton. Now, she was working, she was tired, she wasn't interested in such stuff. Now she's got a little interest
Yeah, I
in
didn't
it.
have a frame of reference for
Now,
what the hell was doing.
it's like, why are all these short people shorter than me? What? Why is this world full of short
He's like,
people?
I don't understand this thing.
Why they got fireworks going on? And why is this
Oh,
old
I don't
guy?
think I got to any fireworks.
Wow, you really didn't last very long. That's like, Dawn, Tina loves her iWatch. Always
Yeah.
is now tracking her steps, her
Oh,
walks,
good.
etc. Yeah. Uh, I love my iWatch. And like I said, it keeps me motivated. I will spend those 5 minutes to close that last circle. Why not? Right? It's an accomplishment. And exercise should be its own reward,
Yes.
but the human mind needs to be gamified. We've learned that. We know that. There's a lot of things like, when you look at these weight loss plans that include exercise, they're all gamifying it. Give yourself an award. Give yourself this. Give yourself an award. You get awards in this.
You get awards on their watch for many things.
Mr. Gunn, I'm going to get an Apple Watch when the new one, version 9, comes out.
Yeah.
At some point, because Apple's already patented this, these watches are going to have a glucose reader.
Which we hope and pray for.
Because
sooner than later.
Yeah.
Let them deal with Abbott Pharmaceuticals, It's like,
yeah.
Abbott might just need to share. And
I mean, that
these guys make his thing. Abbott makes his Libre.
Yeah, it's like I'm paying $37.50 every 2 weeks, or really, I get them every I get 6 at a time, so I'm popping down about like $227 every just short of 3 months. It adds up, right? Imagine if you could just check your blood sugar. Now my watch will give me the high glucose warning, out of range warning, But imagine if you had a watch that could do it, and even if you weren't a diabetic, to be able to see how certain foods affect your body. That's what I love to look at too. So hold on. I've already watched the movies like individually back when, I saw them in the theaters. I saw them on their DVD, but I need to binge watch. I never watched the extended cuts. Really need to make Rach suffer through the extended cuts, right? Rach, we're gonna do 10 hours of movie watching today. But don't worry, I made.
Well, you'll say like, oh, wait, let's watch this. I'll be like, how long is it?
Yeah, I can't do that. It's too much time. You're retired, Rach. No, don't even say that. It's too much time. So, le shock, le gasp. I know. Director's cut. Yeah, I know. We'll get this. We'll get there. JR. Can you imagine Disney remaking Lord of the Rings?
Oh, God, no.
Hobbiton would be filled with body positive 300-pound hobbits. Well, or Amazon, right? If Amazon remade it, isn't that what they basically did? I didn't watch the Rings of Power or whatever. I
don't know that had anything to do with body positivity, though.
I think it had a lot to do with a lot of issues that Tolkien did not include in his work. Because we can reimagine it. Just saying. Don, I like my analog watches. I do not like digital watches, but seeing Tina's now, what it does, and I can make it look like an analog. Yeah, Don.
Yes.
This is what I prefer.
There's faces that
I prefer the analog, and if I tap it, it'll bring up other things.
You want to be towards the top, to tap that because it didn't come.
It did.
No.
All right, if I tap the watch,
it's not coming. Your
it
activity?
did. It did. Hold on. There. It fades so fast.
Oh,
It fades when I turn the watch around. Oh, no, I'm not talking to you. No, watch. God damn it. You can make it look like an analog, Don. Get it. It's good. Mr. Gunn. Oh, gods, no. The wokeness of the Rings of Poop was more than enough to turn me off to this series, but I thought I didn't even make it to the first episode.
I don't think we even turned it on.
No, I saw the coming. Attractions.
Oh.
I saw the trailer, and I went, "What show is this?" And listen, Lord of the Rings had some very powerful and strong female characters, but they weren't Mary Sue's. Mary Sue's are essentially, for Rach was going, what the fuck's a Mary Sue? Mary Sue is a character that can do everything and be everything and is like super uber and is never in trouble. Mm-hmm. I don't need a man to help me. She was a Mary Sue. Main character. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't like the Mary Sues. I've got to tell you that. If your name was Mary Sue or H, we might not be
together.
Might not be together. I might have turned into a smoker. And I've never smoked a day in my life. This is my natural voice. I always talk like this. I put on a fake voice when I'm doing this show. When I talk like this, it's my... Sorry. I'm fucking with you all. Tina wants me to get one, especially over the other night scare. Monitoring my blood pressure is a handy tool.
Yes.
All right, so this doesn't monitor blood pressure yet.
It will do your heart rate.
It does your heart rate, and it does
your pulse ox.
You can do an ECG.
Yes, that too.
So and it can look for irregular heart rates.
Yeah, that's what it did for me. Like not last Christmas, but the Christmas before. We were sitting in the pub and like after the family gatherings and stuff. And just all we were doing was like drinking and
imagine that.
And enjoying karaoke. So like I'm just sitting there drinking and then my heart rate started to go crazy. And then
my watch went.
My watch that it was going crazy for long enough for the watch to be able to say, "Oh, this is a problem," and then I guess I asked the doctor about it, and he was like, "Oh, Yep, we're gonna have you see. We're gonna have you tested. So, went through all that, had the monitor, which was good because it ruled out, arrhythmias.
Yep.
Yeah. And any other heart.
So Don, the
thing.
regular heart rhythm, that would be handy as hell. Yeah.
Yes.
So these smartwatches are actually very good. We are strongly in the Apple verse,
Yeah.
the iVerse. I've dabbled in the Android world and the Google Pixels and the Samsung Galaxies and all
But
that
nothing beats the Apple.
Nothing beats the Apple for pure consistency. Do you give up a little control? Yeah, you're stuck in. I mean, could I jailbreak it? Yeah, but why jailbreak your phone? Unless you're my son, in which case he was jailbreaking left and right. Jailbreaking. Mr. Gunn, Mary Sue's don't need men or their DNA. They can spontaneously will themselves to be pregnant. Theoretically possible. Theoretically possible. JR, I read one story of a hiker on the Appalachian Trail who fell off a cliff and woke up in traction in the hospital.
Holy.
His Apple Watch detected his fall and called 911 while he was unconscious.
Thank God.
Yes, they can do that. When you get your watch, also, it'll do that if you're near enough to your phone, or if you have one that has built-in cellular. You don't even have to have
you
your
don't
phone.
Have to worry about the phone.
Yeah, we've never had the built-in cellular because I already find it annoying to pick up my phone on occasions and have like, oh shit, my phone isn't nearby, but it's within range. Yeah, Chris, what's up? How can I help you? It's like, it's not loud enough. Not that I'm losing my hearing or anything. Mr. Gunn, my wife made me convert to Apple. She's happy. I don't really care.
Okay.
But I am happy as long as the wife is happy.
Sounds like a good philosophy.
You have learned well, a grasshopper, and such is the first step to a long, happy marriage. Others are, make sure she's well fed, and don't piss off all your money on stupid shit. And gaming isn't stupid shit, Tom. And I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about, I don't know, punching up at the big boys. Watsy. Just don't waste your money on that shit. I mean, that's just 20 years. God bless. Rach and I are going to be coming up on 12.
Yes.
I have to do that math in my head because once we hit 10, it was just like, I won the game. She stuck with me for 10 years. She's not going anywhere. Mr. Gunn, you don't play the ponies? I've always wanted to go to the track and play the horses once. But
my dad took me there when I was a kid. I'm not a kid, but like an adolescent.
Okay. Play the horses.
The casinos. Well, they used to have like this horse track, and then like you would have dinner there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I know a lot of gamblers that played the horses, and they always played it. This is New York City. We no longer have OTB, off-track betting. So it would always be a phone call. And I was like,
oh, yeah, the bookies in the pub. And,
yeah. I never was like, I don't even want to know how that gets taken care of.
Yeah, I was always wondering, like, after the pub closed down, how are people betting the horses? I guess they still have some numbers and stuff. So,
I'll meet you at a corner and meet me at a corner and slip me an envelope. Mr. Gunn, if only my mother would accept that my wife is not going anywhere.
Oh.
I am lucky. As we were dating, I had my father tell me, "Don't fuck this up. Don't wait too long." And asking her for her hand in marriage.
Yes.
And my mother's like, "Rach is a keeper. Not only does she let you be you, but she makes you a better you." She goes, "And I didn't expect that." I went, "So I wasn't a good me before?" She's like, "You're better. All right, you're just better." It's like, okay. So, and of course, Rach found a way to get herself living with me before our actual
Well,
marriage.
the city of New York
Yeah,
found a
yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Shoot, that's not what happened. You were just like, you know what? I don't know if I want to wait this long to move in. Let me
Yeah,
let
because I
me
can't see you very well. I stepped in a sinkhole in the street, going from the sidewalk into the street to cross, and yeah,
yeah.
the foot that got stuck in it was broken, and the foot that tried to like hold me up was sprained, and
And then she walked home
I had to walk for like 5 6 blocks
because
home
she went out
with my dog.
she went walking without her cell phone. By the way,
Yeah.
folks,
Don't ever go walking without your cell phone.
take your in today's day and age. I would take my cell phone. I would leave my wallet behind before leaving my cell phone
Yes.
behind.
Oh, I didn't have my wallet either. I just had my dog. My dog.
Mr. Gunn, yeah, New York has OTB because why should the mob have all the fun and money? So real story. Not a joke. Not a joke. I'm not a president. Not a joke. Um, Real story. New York City OTB, because Nassau County has its own OTB.
Is it still going?
Nassau County is still going.
Oh,
We pass it when we go driving out to Miller's.
oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I should bring Shannon and go. Shannon, let's go play some horses. Um, New York City OTB closed down, went out of business because it lost money. How does a bookie lose money? Because it was
Because it's a very
mismanaged.
mismanaged bookie.
It was very mismanaged. How mismanaged was it? It was so mismanaged that I believe that the leadership of the New York City government OTB was skimming from OTB.
That's where the chiseler was working.
Yes.
Ah.
He wasn't skimming, but he got a good pension out of it.
Mm-hmm.
All things considered.
Well, he was scheming, but not there. Maybe I don't know.
No.
He always has something up his sleeve.
The chiseler. Mr. Gunn, I finally stopped making excuses for my mother's poor behavior and told her she had to shape up. Wife was happy, mom was annoyed, but has been slowly getting over it.
Yep, it's hard. That dynamic was present with my grandmother and my father.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my mom's mom did not like my dad.
Okay.
And, she would look down. She would, like anything he got, it just wasn't good enough.
Well, all right.
Yeah, like
so,
that kind of thing.
My father was initially not approved of by my grandmother. And I think part of it was background. My mother's side of the family is German and Dutch. My father's side is Goche. Goche are ethnic Germans that were living in Yugoslavia. They were basically, upper lower class, lower middle class. I mean, they were farmers. They weren't coming from money. Not that my family on my mother's side came from money, but my father grew up in Ridgewood. So he had a bit of a, New York accent from Brooklyn. He kind of talked like.
There's still little tiny Germanisms in it.
Yes. But, he had that kind of way about him. And about 2 years into my parents' marriage, my grandmother pulled my mother aside and said, "Listen, I need to apologize." She's like, "What?" She goes, I was so wrong.
I wish my dad got that kind of.
But I mean, I remember my father when I was little. He was taking speech lessons to get rid of his Brooklyn accent.
Oh,
He was so conscious about it.
that's so sad.
So, Jr. Shocker. I listened to a news documentary on Las Vegas. I choked when it claimed the mob didn't run Vegas because corporations owned casinos now.
Yeah.
Is the mob running it like they ran it before? No. Is the mob still got its fingers in a lot of pies? Certainly. They might not have their finger in the casino pie, but they have their finger in everything supplying the casino. Just like the mob in New York had to adjust, the mob in Vegas had to adjust. But they don't go away. They certainly don't go away. And if you don't, I'm sure they are doing loan sharking and a bunch of other stuff.
Prostitution.
And they may have their fingers in some of the smaller casinos. But they're probably a bit more hands off in the bigger ones. But who do you think owns your food service corporations out in Vegas? Most likely, maybe not directly, but indirectly. Who's controlling all that stuff? I would say people with bent noses. Yeah, had it been the outfit, the chiseler would have been taking a swim in the East River in cement shoes. The chiseler. Great name, by the way.
I really love it. I had no idea. I was like, oh, it's so and so. And then they're like, yeah,
the chiseler.
I'm like, what does that even mean?
It means that he's in debt to like everybody in the pub. And then when he gets to
and he's always looking for something from you.
Yes, guess who owns shares in those companies? Usually through other shells, yes. But like I said, I am sure that if the mob is not directly involved in the casinos, especially the larger ones, they're still making money off of them. They're still making money off of them. And they probably control the unions. That if the staff is unionized, I can most guarantee you.
Do they still have that kind of flexing power with the unions?
A lot of them. Meanwhile, Tony Spilacci's lawyer was elected mayor. It's a little bit of nepotism, but you know what I'm saying. Come on. He knows how it all works. It's okay. He's not sure. Not saying we bankrolled him. We didn't bankroll him. I don't know how he got like all these millions of dollars there to spend on his
Stugats.
And I don't know how his main competition fell down a flight of stairs 2 days before the election. Look at that. He didn't die.
He was
good.
just a clumsy Stugat.
Yeah, should walk. We should, look before you start walking. You know what I'm saying? Hey. The rackets, yeah. Now the mob's lawyer's wife is mayor of Vegas. Well, that's at least one degree of separation. Mr. Gunn, the modern mob is also still into traditional criminal rackets, including labor union corruption, prostitution, illegal drugs,
yes, most stuff,
and train robberies.
Of like that Amazon one that happened maybe 2 years ago.
All right. So, Mr. Gunn, when I was a cop in the 4-1 precinct in the late 90s, early aughts, there was a point where I was doing CompStat. I was doing the crime stats. And we had the Hunts Point Market. We also had one of the largest Conrail stations in the country. It was a hub. And this Conrail hub would often park trains overnight. Long 100-plus car trains overnight. Wow. And do you know what they were frequently carrying? Corona beer.
Oh, no.
So what would happen is, some strange coincidence, they would find out, oh my God, there's a train parked with Corona beer. And it wasn't, it wasn't the gangs that were coming, because they were coming with box trucks. And they would come
Ah,
into the property with box trucks, rip open the trucks, load it up with the Corona beers. Now, a case of Corona beers at that point, I don't remember what the price was for uh, the retail, but it was, say it was $10 a case. Well, $10 a
no.
case. Okay, late '90s. Say it was just $10 a case. Once you hit 100 cases, or 101 cases, just over $1,000, it is now a grand larceny. It's now a crime that falls under the crime stats, gets tracked by the FBI, becomes part of the precinct crime numbers. If it's $1,000 or less, it doesn't pop. Well, Amtrak had their own police officer assigned to do these investigations. He parked at our local precinct because it was one guy for Amtrak. Um, the deal was, unofficially, that he would report these thefts to the NYPD
Mhm.
in amounts of less than $1,000.
Hmm.
So he would break up because, oh, it came from two different train cars. So now you would
Oh,
break it up
wow.
into different thefts. Otherwise, so yeah, they do. I'm sure that's still going on. Don, my mom's dad lives in Detroit, and at the shop he worked at, he used to tell us stories to us kids about how the shop owner once came to the workers for a few bucks each as he needed to pay his protection.
Oh,
I believe it. Those rackets were going. Uh, Jr., do you have any mob stories directly from your police time? Do spill. I worked in the South Bronx. Didn't did I know of people that were linked to the mob? We had one guy who owned a lot of property. He was Albanian,
oh,
but word has it that he was with one of the Italian mobs. He was always trying to. He had a condo or a co-op in Florida, and he was always offering leadership in the command.
oh
If
no.
if you want to spend a weekend, you can go to my place. And it's like, I used to go to my sergeant. I go, Sarge. He goes, ignore him. We knew he ran numbers, but couldn't prove he ran numbers. He
Hmm.
would, but that's what he did. The one time I did make a report on this. I'm off duty. I'm in Harlem. I'm at a diner. It's a nice diner, and I'm there with my son's mother, and we're having burgers lunch. And at the table next to me, I hear this boom box, because this area was right next to an Italian area in Harlem,
Like one of the last.
one of the last,
Yeah.
Pleasant Avenue. And I'm listening, and like I hear, yeah, yeah, yeah. So like, they trust me, man. They trust me. I'm looking at my son's mother like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, yeah, they trust me. So I get to pick up the numbers. I pick up the numbers, right? From all the stores. I get the numbers, and I get the cash, right? And then they let me for whoever wins, like I get to distribute the money for the people that win. I'm not fucking hearing this, right? Am I really? And then he starts naming fucking names. So I'm there reaching into my pocket for a scrap piece of paper, and I'm just writing like this shit down. Yeah. And he
No.
goes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
But
my god, the poor bastard thought
he
he
had
was safe.
he sounded like his IQ was
Yeah, I was gonna
somewhere
ask you.
somewhere around that of a potato. And he was trying to impress a woman whose IQ was slightly higher than his.
Oh.
She's like, really? They let you do that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the other day, I had $1,500. Not that it was mine. I had to give it right up. But for a few minutes, I had $1,500. So I made an intel report. That's the odds of that shit happening more than once. It's like, What's a Conrail? Conrail, the transportation, the railroad
It's a
transportation
railroad
company.
that transports. How do you say
It's a commercial transport.
There you go.
They have the right of way. I talked to
It's not really a passenger or commuter
no,
railroad.
no. So I actually talked to
Used to be, but no more.
no, Conrail never was.
It was down south.
Oh, maybe not south.
Yeah,
Up
like
north it
that. There was Conrail, like that big train accident in Maryland. I
Oh,
think maybe like 80s or early 90s.
yes, CSX. Yeah, a lot of the train cars had CSX on it. So, I spoke. We used to use the Conrail facilities as cops because we would clean our bathrooms in our own. I used to know cops that would go to their facilities to shower because it was cleaner than our own. The precinct was close, like 3 blocks away. So I'm there and I'm talking to one of the Conrail guys, and I guess he was like the conductor, like the assistant to the engineer, and the train would the line of the train went past the property of oh God, what's his name?
Oh,
Uh,
it's
Serpico.
Serpico. I was about to say Scorpio.
Serpico went past Serpico's property upstate, and Serpico was, and so if you, while going past his property, made a point of looking, let alone taking out a camera to take pictures, he would take out his revolver and start shooting at your train. So there you go. Con Air was a good movie, by the way. I like that. Class 1 railroads: Amtrak, BNSF, Kansas City, CSX, Norfolk Southern, Union Pacific, Canadian National. JR, I'm a Canadian Pacific and Canadian National stockholder. I get a free subscription to Railway Today.
Train fans.
There we go. All right, folks. We are hitting the, we're coming up in 75 minutes. So I think if you take anything from this, all right, like Rachel and I do this, we try not to miss our Gamers House unless we're at a convention. We always, try to make sure we do this. It charges our batteries. We're going to finish this up. We are going to maybe relax for a little bit, and then we're going to start packing for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And also clearing up some parts of the kitchen.
Clear out the garbage.
Oh my God, there's so much stuff. When you do start to organize, you're going to find that you get rid of a lot of stuff. It might not be your intention. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Don't complain about it. Embrace it. Downsizing is not bad. Because without downsizing, you can't upsize again.
Right. You can't have that next best thing because there's no room for it.
Yep.
No?
So. All right. Thank you all for spending your time with us.
Thank you so much.
I will say this. If Jimmy Dore comes to a city or town near you,
go see
him. Great show. Really worth it.
And his wife is lovely.
Excellent time. All right, folks. As usual, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well. I'll be back again at some point with some random video, likely recorded in the Poconos. And I'll catch you all later.
Stay well.
Be good.